Hello and welcome to 21st Century. I'm Daljit Dhaliwal. Millions of girls around the world, some as young as 5 years old, find their fates sealed by early marriages. We've travelled to Ethiopia, the country with the highest rate of child marriage anywhere in the world, to live life with a child bride. Sarier Todes always thought she'd be going to school at this age, always thought that she would have years before she had to take care of and be intimate with a man. But her school days are over. At 12 years old, she has already been a wife for 4 months. On the day her childhood ended, her mother lied to her. She told her she was preparing for an Easter celebration. That's not what it was.
I believed her, but then I asked her again and she revealed that I'm getting married the next day.
Marriage was the last thing Sarier expected. She didn't know what it meant, but she was sure she didn't want it.
All I said was, if you want to ruin my future. I didn't feel anything. I didn't laugh. I didn't cry.
But her mother, convinced she couldn't provide for her after the death of Sarier's father years earlier, had arranged for her to marry.
I never met my husband before I married him. I didn't even recognize him on our wedding day.
Sarier is just one of the estimated 50 million child brides across the world. Hers is a story of what it's like to live a life you never asked for, to have your childhood stolen. Sarier's day begins at sunrise when she cleans the hut she shares with her husband. She doesn't go to school but watches every day as her friends leave without her.
I feel so angry when I see my friends going off to school. It hurts.
Hurts as she realizes that every day that passes is one more day with no education. One more afternoon spent preparing food and cooking lunch. She and her husband sit down together in total silence. More than 30 minutes pass and not a word is spoken. Dusk falls and the wind picks up. Dinner comes and goes, and again, silence. In this, the Amhara region of Ethiopia, an estimated 1 in 5 girls marry before their 10th birthday. Nearly 40% are wed before the age of 15, and some are married as young as 5 years old.
Catch girls young. Catch them young before they get too smart, before they start asking too many questions.
That's the logic in the region, says Helen Mdem Mikhail of the United Nations Population Fund.
It's a problem related to gender inequalities. She should not be highly educated as much as a boy, and she should be subservient to a man.
A man like Jabewa, Sarier's husband, a farmer and a man 10 years older than she. But Jabewa says it's not a marriage of romance for him either.
I decided to marry her because there was no one to cook for me. To get someone to do that, I needed a wife.
In return, he says he'll provide Sarier with security. Security perhaps, but there may be a price to pay. Sarier says what bothers her most of all is what happens at night.
I cried the first day I had sex because I didn't know what it was supposed to be like. It's not good to get married so young because the girl is forced to have sex with her husband and she will be hurt.
And if she gets pregnant, there may be devastating consequences, as her body may be too small to safely give birth. In fact, pregnancy is a leading cause of death for girls between the ages of 15 to 19 in the developing world. Despite all of this, early marriage remains a tradition vehemently defended by many of Amhara's village elders.
I believe in getting married young, that marriage should be arranged for children. It's ingrained in our society. The society believes in this.
But long-standing tradition is no excuse for what's happening to the girls of Ethiopia, says the country's Minister of Health, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus.
Because it has been there in our culture for long, it doesn't justify that it should be with us for the future.
The government did pass a law in 1998 forbidding marriage before the age of 18, but the law is facing its own difficulties.
I think having the law is one thing, and enforcing it is also another thing.
Governed by custom and culture, few local officials and community members actually enact and adhere to the national law. And so, for many girls, running away from their marriages is the only escape. Up to 20% of girls who migrate to urban areas do so to flee such a future. And that's what happened to 17-year-old Yeshi Mekri.
My family wanted me to marry when I was 8 years old, so I escaped to the nearest city.
Like so many other girls, she left a quiet rural village and found herself in a dangerous city with few options. She began working in someone's home, but that didn't last long.
I began working as a maid, but a broker soon found me this job. I don't know what it was, but he took money and left me.
A broker sold her to a brothel. She's now a prostitute working in a red light district. She sleeps with up to 30 men a night, and her income just $5 an evening. Next to her bed, Yeshki keeps posters. This one, she says, represents her childhood. This one, her present. There's no easy answer.
If I knew I would work like this, I would have preferred to get married.
That's something Sarier, trapped in her own marriage, may find hard to understand.
When I was very young, I never wanted to get married. I wanted to have a full life.
And while the life she has may be unlike the life she imagined, she still dreams of something different for her future children. And she's getting support from the most unlikely of places, her husband, Chibewa.
If I have daughters, I want them all to go to school. I want them to have a different future than the one Sarier and I have.